All right, let's talk about chord tones. This is kind of next thing in the soloing. Chord tones. We're going to be just kind of doing some target practice with our soloing. So we're going to say we could solo with specific chord tones, right? If the scale idea is kind of a bigger picture, meaning like the blues scale I could play over all the chords, then my chord tones is a little bit more specific, right? Every time I play a chord or I'm playing within that chord, you know, my chord tones always sound the best. So if you know those roots, thirds, fifths, sevenths that we've already talked about, this is where that comes into play. So the first kind of objective is, can I solo with, I mean, you could say roots, but I'm assuming you finding the roots is no big deal, okay? So can I solo with a third, right? What is the third of the chord? Meaning I gotta know my chords. If I'm playing that B flat 7, then my B flat 7 third is the D, right? My E flat 7, third is the G, F, the A flat, the C, okay? So now we're saying, let's pick that one chord tone, and our creative box is very small, very minimal, right? Because now we're just saying we can only use that one chord tone. But we're going to say you can be creative with rhythm, right? So you could use rest, different rhythms, eighth notes, quarter notes, whole notes, whatever. You can be creative with, again, dynamics. Don't forget dynamics, right? Don't play it all the same loudness. So just an example here. So here's my third of B flat. Right, to my third of E flat, which is a G. Back to my B flat, again, which is a D. There's my repeat, because that was the first ending. Alright, that's the idea. So then we want to say, can I do the same thing with the sevenths, right? What is the seventh? In this case, they're all flat sevens, so that means I'm coming down a whole step from the root, right? So B flat would be the A flat, E flat would be the D flat, F would be the E flat, and A flat would be the G flat. So let's say the same thing, right? Keep it as simple as you need to. Seventh. Again, it's just kind of target practicing. It's not going to sound amazing as far as being a nice melodic idea, right? But it's a start because you're going to build off of these, right? These are going to be the notes that you're going to start and your phrases on as you kind of add scale tones and whatnot into your melody idea. So if you can do the thirds all the way through and you can do the sevenths all the way through, let's mix it, right? Now it's going to sound a little bit more fluid, or it could going to the next chord. Right, there's still some hopping, and that's just going to happen. Again, I can hold it, I can have some rests, and so forth, right? And it's a good exercise. Just carry that all the way through a few times and whatnot. So then, if you get that far, let's add the other tones into it, right? And this is where you can kind of branch off and get creative, right? You could say, okay, I'm just going to use a root shapes of the chords. You know, I can find them that way. And just literally move your hand to those shapes and solo with only those notes. Right, and so forth. And you know, again, you're kind of restricted in the sense, at least to start with, just find those root shapes and then move them. And then you could branch off to inversions, right? And this gets a little deeper into knowing your chords. And you know, think of, you know, if you don't know what inversions are, have another video I can link you to, but think of what's in common, and if it's in common to the next chord, those notes can't move, right? So let's just give a quick example. B flat to E flat. B flat and E flat both have B flats in it. They both have D's in it, although one is natural and one is flat. And that's it. right? So if I have that shape, I can move all the top 3 kind of down. And that's my shape. So I could play my B flat. To my E flat chord. Right? And I get these nice, easy, nice voice leading because I'm just moving kind of inner works of the chord to the next chord and whatnot. So I can get a nice smooth sound, and I can actually make some melodies just using that. So I've done this with students where I take them through maybe like a shape and a shape and a shape and a shape to the closest inversion, shape to the closest inversion, to a shape, closest inversion, closest inversion, closest inversion, shape, right? Just make them do a different shape if it repeats itself or not, doesn't matter. But just kind of that idea. They have to move that chord around and then use those 4 notes. So the basic idea of this, chord tones, they always sound right. If you are ever in trouble and can't think of what scale should I play, just play your chord tones. They sound just fine. And then take it home and go work it up and say, ooh, that is a 2-5, that's a 2-5-1, or whatever. Now I could use this scale over it, and that's great too. But never forget about chord tones. You can make great solos out of just chord tones. I'll just show you a quick example. This is only chord tones moving around, right? Kind of start adding scales in there, but you can create a decent one with just chord tones. So go learn your chord tones, know your chord inversions, because those are kind of going to be your go-to fingerings as you're improvising and playing these. And obviously you're going to mix in other fingerings too. You're not just going to play those classic voicings, but those are good places to start. So all right, that's all I want to say on chord tones, because we're going to kind of use those into our patterns here in this next video. So I will see you here in just a minute, or the next video.